Hi everyone, it's Jody from An Eye for Beauty, and today is Sunday, November 7th, 2021. And this message is for the week of November 7th, or whenever it is that you're hearing this message. Know that there's always something in these messages that you need to hear for your highest good. So if you're listening now and you want to choose a card, we have card number 1, we have card number 2, and we have card number 3. So take a minute to decide if you want to go with card number 1, card number 2, or card number 3, or just listen to the whole message. Remember that I also do private sessions, whether they are in person or virtual. You can log on to my website, which is www.beauty.com, and you can go on there and check it out and schedule an appointment. So let's begin. And the first thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to see what archangel is with us right now as I'm doing this message. And the reason why I'm doing that is I had to re-record this message about 4 times because I kept hearing noises in this house or outside, or just the most recent message, something banged. I don't know what it was, but I don't even know what it was. So I said, who's here? Who's trying to get our attention? And I pulled a card. And the card is Archangel Jeremiel. And Archangel Jeremiel is saying, all is well. So I know that things are probably going to come up through these 3 cards that suggest otherwise. But even though we are going through what we're going through right now on the earth, can you look at things from a higher perspective and say, really, even though I have to go through this obstacle, I know at the end of the day, all is well and everything is going to work out. Is that something that you can do? It's something that takes practice. It's something that takes faith. It's something that takes trusting. Trusting in the universe, God, whatever it is that you believe was the creator of Earth. But it takes trust. And if you don't have that trust, maybe the first step is to start to begin to work on how to gain faith and trust in what is going on. And to know that at the end of the day, all is well. And so Archangel Jeremiel is saying everything is happening exactly as it is supposed to, with hidden blessings that you will soon understand. So when we look at what is going on in the world, it is an absolute mess. But it's all happening for a reason. And sometimes it's hard to sit in the day. And today, when I'm recording this, is election day. So I can tell you, it is hard to sit in the day sometimes when you don't know what's coming. And when you have a nervous feeling, maybe that's why all that banging was happening around me, because I had a nervous feeling and I had to ground myself and center myself again before I redid this message. So the first message in this message is, if you ever get that anxious feeling like I was having of nervousness, you have to pause. Stop what you're doing. Because what happens is if you continue marching on and don't acknowledge the feeling that is rising up inside of you, something could happen. You could get in a little bit of an accident, or back 3 years ago when I didn't listen to what happened, I broke my ankle. I was in an energy of anger. I went down my garage step and I fell and I broke both bones in my ankle because I wasn't listening to my inner voice, which was telling me to pause, to take a moment, to regroup, to recenter, to rebalance before I continued. So like I did today, I had to rebalance, recenter, refocus before I actually did this message. And I thought it was very important for me to see what Archangel was with us, and here he is. And he's saying all is well. So whatever, as we go through these cards, is going on in your life, just remember that there is a bigger picture. We have to experience what we are here to experience, even if it's uncomfortable. But there is truly a lesson in it. There is a blessing in it. And if we look at the world, and there's so many different things going on, and I hope more and more of you are able to actually see and connect the dots to everything that is happening around you. I hope that you're understanding that we did have to really deal with this, because this has been going on for way too many years now. And I don't know where we're going with this going forward, but I know that we have to really see what is happening around us for what it is, and we have to stand strong, and we have to stand firm. So now take that whole message 5 minutes into this message, and let's see what card number 1 has to say with regards to a similar message. And the card says, first card, the pig. It says, face your problems head on with confidence and courage, and you will emerge victorious. So when you are experiencing an obstacle in the past, or maybe even in your present, what you might find that you do is you don't want to deal with it. So you step away from it. Or it's like you put your head in the sand. You don't want to look at it. And I think that that's what we're seeing a lot in the world, is people can't even imagine what is actually going on behind the scenes. So they don't want to see it. So they don't want to acknowledge it. And the unacknowledging of it, or the unseeing of it, is why it's continuing to perpetuate. We have to start really looking at, in our own lives and in the world, what is actually going on, and see it for what it is, and feel it, and acknowledge it. And it takes a lot of courage to do that, because it's so much easier to ignore it. It's so much easier to not get involved in it. And sometimes that's a defense mechanism, because you don't want to deal with it because you don't think you can handle it. But what this card is saying to you is, you have to face them head on. Understand this: if you ignore the problem, it continues to come back. What you resist will persist. But when you face it head on, you walk through it, as uncomfortable as it is, and when you get to the other side, you're done. You don't ever have to deal with that again, because you learned your lesson. Think about how many people are in relationship after relationship after relationship, and they're with the same kind of energy person, and they're dealing with the same kind of stuff in a different relationship, but it's the same lesson. And until they actually learn the lesson, they're going to continue going through that until they get it. So it's the same concept here. It is actually to your benefit if you face something on head on. Call upon Archangel Michael to give you the strength and the courage, as well as the protection, to walk through whatever it is, but walk through it, face it head on. And when you get to the other side, you're going to say, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. That's card number 1. Card number 2 is the polar bear, and it says, stand up for yourself and speak your truth respectfully and compassionately, with no attachment to the outcome. And here we go again. It's really the same message. We got to start standing up. We have to start standing strong. Whatever is going on in your personal life, or maybe it's what's going on in the world that is now affecting your personal life, you cannot back down. You cannot give in. You have to stand up. You have to speak your truth. You have to stand firm, and you have to stand strong. And when you speak, it has to be with compassion and with kindness and with no attachment to emotion. Now, if you're going through something and it's kind of hard to not be attached to your emotions, what you have to remind yourself is that pausing aspect that we discussed in the beginning of this message. Can you step back and take a moment and say, I'm going to detach. I'm just going to say what I have to say. It's a very different energy than being reactive. When you're reactive, you're looking for this energy to continue to perpetuate a fighting. When you say what you have to say and you're done, you're not concerned with what is being said on the other side. You had your piece, you said your piece, and you're standing firm in it. It's an extremely different energy. So if you need to stand up for yourself in whatever is going on in your world right now, call upon Archangel Michael. He will give you the strength, the courage, and of course the protection. That's card number 2. And then card number 3 is the honey bee. And the bee represents success. So this particular card says, let compassion and forgiveness be your top priority in this situation. So yet again, We're asking you to speak up respectfully, but speak your truth with compassion. But then this next card is saying, let compassion be your top priority. Making sure that the words that you're using are words that are going to be received by whoever you're speaking them to in the way in which you're speaking them and what your intention is. That's the key. What is the intention behind what you're saying? And if you look at all that's going on in the world, I mean, it's too much stuff to actually share in one video. But if you look at the key things that are going on, what is the intention? Are you seeing the real intention? Or are you seeing what you are hoping is the intention based on your belief system? Very different. So this card number 3 is also asking you the same thing. What is your intention? Speak it with compassion. If somebody is wronging you, can you offer them forgiveness? Offering forgiveness does not say you condone behavior. What it says is, I am freeing myself. I'm detaching, like card number 2 said. I'm detaching from any emotions. I forgive you for what you did, but I'm moving on. That's a very different energy. And as you can see with all 3 of these cards is when you detach from the emotion, that doesn't mean you don't feel the emotion. You have to still feel everything you're feeling. But when it's time to speak about it to the other party, can you detach from the emotion so you're just matter of fact saying what you have to say, knowing that what you're saying is exactly your truth, it is truthful, it is respectful, and then you can move on. And when you move on, it's like, imagine being shackled down. The shackles fall, and you continue on your day and your way. So this message for this week, and I think this is the energy of November, is telling us that we really need to start standing up. We really need to start standing up for ourselves, for our values and our morals and our beliefs. We really need to stand firm. No wavering, no backing down. No, maybe, I don't know. None of that anymore. Because the more we do that, the more you lose your freedom. And that could be the freedom of the stuff going on in the world. That could be the freedom of your own personal stuff going on in your world. So remember that you have to go through what you're going through. We have to go through what we're going through as a human collective consciousness. We have to go through this, guys. So if we have to go through it, let's buckle up and start standing up and standing firm. Because Archangel Jeremiel is saying, really, from his point of view, where he is up in the heavens, all is going to be well. Because, of course, they can see what is the end result to what we're dealing with. We all signed up to be here at this time. So we have to go through it. So can you put on your big girl panties or big boy panties, stand up firm, stand up strong, do what you have to do, be kind, be compassionate, but don't waver? Can you do that? Can you give yourself and anybody that's wronging you forgiveness? Can you do that? This is what we need to do right now. And I was going to talk about Archangel Gabriel, and so that card just fell out of the deck before we complete. Archangel Gabriel is the archangel that helps us to speak the words that we want to speak. Or did I say that? I don't remember. So if I did, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself. If there is something you want to say with truthfulness and respect, you also want to call upon Archangel Gabriel, because this is the archangel that makes sure that whatever you need to verbalize is received by the other party. But Archangel Gabriel also wants you not to let the feelings get stuck inside of you. Instead, write them down. Journal them or just write them in a notepad. What is coming up for you that's making you angry, that's making you hurt, upset, worried, angered, frustrated, all of those emotions. What are you writing about? Write it down. What are your blessings? What are you grateful for? What brings you joy? What brings you happiness? Don't forget those things. Write them down too. We're not only going to focus on the negative, let's also focus on the positive. So I wish you a great week, and I hope something in this message served you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.